Congressman Swalwell, I don't even know where to begin with this. I mean, it's certainly appalling to think that something that could be unredacted, classified, highly sensitive national security information is floating, maybe multiple copies of which are floating around. And yet I can't tell you that I'm surprised, because it was the Trump administration.
It's very on brand for the Trump administration. In fact, this administration started with candidate Trump asking for, telling the Russians how, and inviting them to interfere in our election. And of course, it benefited Donald Trump as he came into office. He did nothing but help Putin as he was in office. And then on his way out, now there are real questions about what happened, to this information. And this is just a preview of what would happen if Donald Trump was president again. He would essentially surrender in every way to Putin, in the way that many of my MAGA Republican colleagues have, in the way that they won't fund the efforts to keep Ukraine in its own fight. And so it's why we can never let this guy or anyone like Meadows, who has worked with him, ever again have the keys to our most precious national security secrets.
And, you talk about things being on brand for Donald Trump. One thing is the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case, which we know so well. In the waning seconds of that Trump administration, Donald Trump, Cassidy Hutchinson telling my colleague Rachel Maddow, he tried to declassify something in the last 15 minutes that he was president of the United States. But, Congressman, there's an actual process to declassification. And so, again, just because he says it's declassified doesn't mean it happens.
Every day I review classified information in one way or another in the Congress. And I can tell you the reason that we protect this information is because it protects, first and foremost, our troops who are often in harm's way. And if this information got out, it would put their lives at risk. It protects people who put themselves forward and disclose secrets to the United States against their own country's interest, because they believe in the United States and they want us to have that information. It protects nuclear secrets. It protects medical, the research that we've done on finding the origins of COVID, anything like that we do and want to get to the bottom of. Republicans have a lot of theories about that. It protects our, means and efforts of trying to do that. And so if these are in the hands of Donald Trump or somebody who would try and use it for their own personal benefit, you can imagine how vulnerable they are, whether it's troops or other equities of the United States.
I will note that a common denominator that keeps on being raised throughout this reporting is the name Mark Meadows, which also kind of raises more eyebrows. But I did want to pivot quickly, Congressman, and ask you your thoughts about today's verdict. I mean, $148 million, noteworthy no matter who it is. Specifically, it's Rudy Giuliani, but I kind of wanted to frame it this way. Rudy Giuliani being tagged for $148 million. You've got 4 people down in Fulton County, including Kenneth Chesbro, Jenna Ellis, Sidney Powell, people that were intimately involved in the scheme to, overturn the lawful results of the 2020 election. You yourself have been a part of litigation, right, to be able to seek accountability for what happened on January 6th. Your thoughts about whether or not you think finally, accountability is starting to happen?
Accountability is coming, and we've seen this tapestry of accountability in the civil and criminal realm. And in that tapestry, in these cases against Donald Trump, I think will be, a part of a security blanket, so to speak, that protects our rule of law and our democracy. And the heroes continue to be in this story people like the election workers who volunteered, to work in our elections and then were smeared by Rudy Giuliani and Trump supporters, and then used our rule of law and our justice system to hold Rudy Giuliani accountable. They are the heroes, and they'll be the heroes all the way to next November, where, again, we'll need them to stand up and believe in democracy and inspire voters to come out and mobilize and organize and save us next November.